It's not so bad. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. It's not so bad.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of the Not So Bad Show. Now, I do want to take a moment to say thanks, everybody, for supporting our last couple episodes. And also, it's been a little strange because of the whole coronavirus thing. First, my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone who's affected by the virus. And, even those who aren't sick, who are just stuck at home and really having a rough time dealing with the lockdown. It's been difficult for all of us. I've been laid off for over a month, and it's not fun. But I'm trying to make the best of my time. So I'm going to share with you 5 tips to get through quarantine, and we should only have a few weeks left, hopefully. So I'm going to give you a few tips to help you make through that, maybe some hobbies, some DIY projects that maybe you can take up at home using limited supplies. And then we're just going to talk about some of the major news that's been going on. What's weird is with the world shut down the way it is, there's not a lot going on. It's, I don't know, it's kind of like a ghost town. It's like completely in really busy, in areas that used to be really busy, it's pretty quiet. And then in the small towns like here in Franklin, it's relatively normal. You still see people at stores, but everyone's wearing masks and staying 6 feet apart. I actually had an interesting moment at the Family Dollar today near my house. So there was this, I was in there shopping and I had my mask and everything, and I was pushing a cart. And I went through this aisle, and this guy comes around the corner, and he passes by me really close. And he has his mask, and he pulls his mask down. Or he doesn't put, he already had it pulled down. So he didn't have his mask covering his face. But he walks right past me. And then about 5 minutes later, I finish shopping, and I'm going up to the front. And he's at the register in front of me, and there's lines on the ground. I'm 6 feet back. And he has his mask pulled up now. And he's coughing. Like quite a bit. For the 30-second interaction that was there, the 4 or 5 times that he coughed, it was pretty, it was noticeable, and like the cashier was just, you could tell she was so nervous. This guy leaves and she just completely, I waited a few moments while she wiped down the whole area, and then I check out, and as I'm leaving, his wife, or I didn't even know at the time that it was his wife or girlfriend, but she's in line behind me. She comes up, and as I'm leaving, I'm getting my stuff out of the cart. She's wearing a mask and she coughs, right? And then I leave the store, I'm putting my groceries in my car, and I see her walk out and get in the same vehicle as him. So I'm pretty sure you had 2 people with a cough going out to the store together, not wearing their masks, and not really practicing social distancing either. They weren't really following the lines. So it's like those kind of things those kind of moments are anxiety inducing, and it's just not, it's not easy to process because you don't want to, you don't want to panic and get real nervous or anything, because they might not have the coronavirus, but they could also be one of the people that don't believe, and they only have their masks because the stores won't let them in otherwise. So if you're one of those people, please take it seriously, because it's not about you and it's not about me. It's about my mom, who's 68 years old and has COPD, and I don't want her to go out to a store because she could be with one of those people, and they're just freely passing the virus around without even without a care in the world. And I think that's what I'm most worried about with this whole thing, is my mom or dad getting sick. My dad retired, but then he started working at FedEx because he got bored, and he's still working through this whole thing. So that's pretty, that worries me, because I don't want him to catch the virus at work and then bring it home to my mom. And they're retired in Florida, 1,000 miles away, so I can't be there at at the drop of a dime. So that does worry me, but I think it's going to be okay. I have a cool project to show you guys. I've been working on so there's a great segue. I have a good project for you guys that I've been working on. It's an acoustic guitar that I'm painting. I've had this guitar for 10 plus years, and I bought it off an ex-girlfriend's brother. His name is Tyler, or Ty. It was like $160 that I paid for it. It might have been $180, and it came with a pedal. But I bought this guitar. I played it for years. It's an SX Custom Acoustic Electric, and it plays tremendously. I mean, it's just a great sounding guitar. And I actually ended up doing artwork and putting stickers all over the body of this guitar. And what I did was I filmed myself. I did a hyperlapse video of me removing all the stickers, and it's one of the most satisfying things ever because I got most of this. I got every sticker to come off in one single piece. And I was pretty proud of that because I just took a razor, and it took me forever. But I have a video here. It's about 20 seconds. You'll see me just kind of going at it. If you're looking, you can see me going at it with the razor blade and just kind of using the scraper to get all the stickers up. And then after I finished that process, that video is available on YouTube, by the way. After I finished that process, I started sanding and scuffing and smoothing, and then started working on the guitar, priming it and painting it. And I have a few shots here of the first couple rounds of paint, and then I'll pull the guitar down so you guys can check it out. Really, I just kind of went with black and white. That's the theme that I'm going for. And it's going to look really cool when it's finished. I haven't quite finished yet, but I got those first couple rounds on. And then I'm actually going to reach behind the camera and try to pull this guitar out. Here we go. So this is what's going on so far. There's still some blemishes in the paint that I had to sand out and I have to repaint. But the design on it is pretty cool. I still have to peel some tape off here. You guys want to watch me do it? Peeling tape's always satisfying, especially when there's sharp lines. Oh yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Yeah, there's some. I had to sand some spots in the back. I got to still repaint, so I'm gonna have to tape all that off anyway again. But yeah, so the stripes kind of flow around the body. It's matte black, flat black, and then I have a matte protective clear cover. There's going to be another white stripe on the headstock. You can see the tape mark from where I wanted to put it. And then the neck here I have, it's going to be white fading to black. And this is all white painted right now. It's going to look really cool when it's done. I'm pretty excited about it. Major transformation because this is what it looks like now. And then right here is what it looks like, is what it used to look like. I think it's pretty insane. Pretty cool guitar though, I'm excited about it. I do have another project in store for my electric right here. So this is a oh god, I guess you would call it a Frankencaster. It's a Fender Player Series Telecaster body with updated faceplate and DiMarzio Super Distortion pickup, or humbucker, and then a Mighty Mites neck with some Clausen Deluxe vintage tuners. Really cool guitar. And then I did a sample patch that I sanded out. Let's see if I can get some light on it. I sanded out this area and did a sample of the color that I want to use on it. It's called Vintage Teal. It's a satin finish. I think this color is going to go really well on this guitar. I like the blue of it, but I think I really want it to look more like a vintage Fender, so I went with a really vintage teal color. And I think I'm really happy with how it turned out too. I like that teal color to it. I think it's going to look better than the blue. So I'm excited about that. I got a couple projects I'm working on. We're always working on art at the Not So Bad House. And I think that's another thing I wanted to focus on in this episode is that things aren't so bad. You know, if you're watching this show right now, it's not so bad. The world and the economy may be falling apart around you, and bills might be piling up, and you're not sure where your next check or work is going to come from. But just take a moment to breathe and think about what you do have, and the fact that you have the ability to watch this right now. You have the ability to talk to your family and friends, and you can you're still breathing and you still have fight left in you. You're worth something, and you can accomplish your dreams. You can make it through this. We all will. It's we together that will make it through this. And I think it's really important that we recognize the things that bring us together, and we stop focusing on what makes us so different. And politically, I mean, stop focusing on the things that separate us and really start thinking about why it is that when people come together, they can accomplish anything. I think that that's the main reason why life is not so bad, because it's full of suffering, and it's terrifying and scary and hard, difficult, and just beautiful and lovely and fun and traumatizing and sorrowful. It's everything. Life is impossible. But the reason I say it's impossible is because anything that's impossible is possible through hard work. If it seems impossible at first, you can keep working at it and eventually get it. It's the Wright brothers story, being the first people to get us into the sky and flying. Now you can't fly without a plane, and it's impossible to fly. So I guess forget everything I just said. It sounds stupid. If it's impossible to you, reevaluate your position and double down and work hard. Unless it's something like flying or teleporting, because those human beings can't do, and you're never going to transform into a lizard or something, or a dog. So there's boundaries, obviously. There's limitations to what we can do. But I think reach for the stars is a good analogy. Is a good saying, because you can kind of picture yourself what that means. Reaching for the stars. It's about growing, looking at your goal, and just really traveling towards it. At a pace that's comfortable to you, but also it's going to be hard. There's obstacles in the way, and it's tricky to even talk about because there's so much balance involved. You really have to be invested in your goal and passionate about it, and it's hard to stay that way. It's hard to stay committed because there's so many obstacles and things in the way, and you have to work a 9 to 5 and pay the bills and take care of your kid and be there for your family and all those things. And then a virus hits the world, and you're maybe so close to reaching your goal, and then this happens, and it's a setback, and now you're at stage, you're just sitting there waiting. I think for a lot of people that can be really disheartening, but it's just remember that it's not so bad. You still have the ability and the strength and the power to move forward and really follow your dreams. So we're going to kind of move on. This next segment is 5 tips to help you through the quarantine, through the lockdown. Hopefully it's almost over. Here we go. Tip number 1, make some art. Make something. Do anything. Just make things. Do stuff. Make art. Make it pretty. Find a couple light bulbs and just do something. Make art. Create. That's one of the best ways to get through a lockdown. Step number 2, have you ever wanted to learn how to play an instrument? Well, guess what? You can still buy them online, on Facebook, and anywhere, and take the time. Maybe you should use this time to learn something you've always wanted to learn. So pick up an instrument, learn how to play it. Chances are you have some friend that knows how to play. Heck, if one of you know me and you want to learn something, I'll show you, because I think everybody should have the ability to make art. Step 3, just clean something, okay? I don't care what it is. Just clean something. Clean anything. We've been stuck in our homes. Don't tell me you've just been sitting there letting the dust pile up, okay? Tip number 4 to make it through quarantine. Go to the corner in your house where you have blankets and pillows because you have a spoiled dog. Find that dog. Wake him up and then give him lovings because he's a cute, good boy. Hi, Marmaduke. Aren't you a pretty boy? Yes, you are. You like your own little personalized corner, don't you? Good boy. Tip number 5, pay attention to your body. Maybe start a new exercise regimen, yoga, meditation, anything. Just get in tune with yourself and spend some time really going over your body and seeing if you have anything you need to focus on. Maybe you have an injury that needs attention. Calisthenics are great, just working your joints and your knuckles and your back and everything. Just kind of getting into your body and working it out, stretching, and just paying attention to yourself. Maybe use this time to really give yourself some self-love. That's 5 easy tips. Make sure you, just think about it. Think about things that you wanted to do and try not to waste this time, because some of us with our family and loved ones, if you are stuck in the house with them, learn something about them. Take this time to really, care about somebody else other than you, because they will appreciate it. And at the same time, if you find yourself bored or just worried about something, sit down and write about it. Journals work wonders. I've always used them to write down things to really work out goals and plans. Here's a bonus tip. Write down where you want to be after the coronavirus. Maybe even write down a 5-year plan. Where would you like to see yourself in 5 years? I think that's a really powerful way. It's a powerful tool to help yourself visualize your goals and really see what it is you want from life. And I think that's really important to figure out, because if you don't know what you want in life, then you're going to find out that it's a lot harder to make it through, because you're just lost. You know, some people find that peace in religion and family, and you know, others find it in creating and art. And I think it's important to think about that and find your balance and find what works for you, because what works for the one person isn't going to work for you. That's why living on social media your whole life is dangerous, you know, because you're looking at filters. Everybody's filtered, and everybody is putting on the best version of themselves. And if you try to attain their standards of social media, what they put out, you're not going to reach it, and you're going to find yourself disappointed. It's the reason we have such high self-medication and so much suicide and so much self-harm, especially in the young female community. I mean, it's one of those things that unfortunately our society is made to perpetuate. We have a very materialistic, self-centered, egotistical society who's all about the image and about the worth of the person. And I think it doesn't go deep enough. And I think then you end up with people on the other side arguing, you know, like fat shaming and stuff. People arguing against pointing out when people are unhealthy, because they've been pushed, they've been made to feel unworthy for so long that now they're going to force you to accept something that you know is, you know, it's unhealthy. And I think, like, I'm an overweight person, and obesity is a tough issue because some people can't control it, but other people, and especially, like, I know myself, I'm choosing to be overweight. I'm not putting in the work, and I'm eating the foods that I'm eating, and that's what is causing my health, my overweightness, you know, my obesity. And I think addressing that is important, and especially for females. It's something that it's shameful because of the way it's talked about, and then they're supposed to just, you know, say, well, my body, you know, it's my choice to live however I want. You're right. However, free speech is a thing, and if I call you a fat fuck, you can't be mad at me because you are a fat fuck. I'm a fat fuck. If you're a fat fuck, you're getting called a fat fuck. That's just the way it works. I'm sorry. Oh man, see, I'm getting worked up. I used to tell people that I could sweat peeling an orange, and I think it's true, but it's also because of the lights. All of the lights. I think it's a Kanye West song, right? Yeah, I don't know. What else did I have for this episode? Brain fart. Oh, yeah. I wanted to talk to you guys about an opportunity to help yourself. If you or someone you know, it sounds like a commercial, if you or someone you know has been damaged by mesothelioma, now, if you or someone you know is struggling with addiction right now, I want to tell you about a program and a treatment from a doctor that I really respect. His name is Brian Negrini. He runs OARS, Opioid Addiction Recovery Services or Systems in Butler. And they have developed something called the Bucket Method. And he developed this and published it himself. It's a method for getting people off of opioid medication, especially if you're on heroin or if you're on methadone. And then as you continue to go down the list, if you go on like Suboxone and things like that, the Bucket Method is actually used to wean people off of their medication and get them to 100% empty. Because right now your bucket is whatever, full of, you know, self-medication, and then he works that Bucket Method the whole way down. It's a really cool thing. I'll try to put up a picture of the literature that I have here. And it's something that he has worked over 30 years of just practice and Yale and medical institutes and all this. I mean, he's really accredited. He has like a huge list of accreditations and other things that he's done. So he's really, you know, tackled this problem head on and worked from a patient first perspective. And to show you what kind of person this doctor is, he's spending $30,000, some of his own money and some funded, $30,000 to provide a week worth of groceries to every single patient that he has at all of his facilities. He also does medical marijuana cards, and he also does other things. He works in hospitals. He's a chief resident. He actually went up to New York and he did a residence in a New York hospital in order to help them. I mean, he was working 20-hour days. It was nuts. I was talking to him on the phone about it, and he actually ended up contracting the virus, and then it took him about a week and a half to pull through, but luckily he made it through. And yeah, it was really rough. He was definitely having a hard time, and I remember talking to him We have some text exchanges where he was telling me just how upsetting it is because everywhere he goes and everything he touched, there's potential for death. And I think you could tell, especially in the way he was talking, he was definitely scared. And I think when he got sick, he was really worried. We were supposed to do an interview, and he had to cancel because he was sick. So we might actually do a video talk, and I'm going to try to get some stuff from him again. But yeah, this virus kind of threw a wrench in all of my plans and some of the guests I was going to bring on, because you don't want to interact with people that you're not with on a daily basis right now, because they could spread the virus, or you could be asymptomatic and be spreading it. And I have friends that I wanted to have on the show, but they have kids, and I don't want to send them home, potentially taking a virus home. I don't want anybody to risk that extra travel. And I think that's smart to do right now, so I'm not going to complain. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm content. I can continue to bring you some content, and we'll just go from there. So yeah, this is a relatively short episode. There's nothing crazy going on besides the whole world's on fire. So yeah, it's not so bad, guys, remember. And if anybody does want to talk, maybe we can do a Zoom or a FaceTime or something. If anybody has a message they'd like to get out, please reach out to me, and we will talk about it. All right, remember that OARS. I'll post the website or the number in the description somewhere or in the comments. That way you can look it up. And if you're thinking about finding help, if you want to get off the medication you're on, if you want to get clean, if that's something that you're interested in, or if you know somebody who needs that help, use this resource because it's powerful. Like I said, he's giving every patient he has, a week's worth of groceries out of the kindness of his heart. And some of these patients are difficult. They're not easy people because they're addicts. I think we all know, anybody who has a history of addiction like myself, I know how difficult they can be. And I think it's just amazing that somebody who's in the field is actually approaching it from a patient-first perspective instead of just being all about the money. So Dr. Negrini, thank you very much for your hard work. And yeah, if somebody out there needs help, just message us. I'll put you in contact with them, or check the comments and you'll see a link to the information you need. Again, thank you guys for supporting the show, and I hope to see you again soon.
It's not so bad.